Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Welcome to part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the week of August 1st through August 5th, where we'll talk about our updates to our various watch lists, what we're looking to possibly trade this week, again for the week of August 1st through August 5th. And again, thank you for spending part of your day to join us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan. If you have not already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, titled Make Money Trading a Recession, we would highly recommend that you also view part 1. That's got all our market analysis, all our strategies for making money trading a recession, etc. So again, we'd highly recommend you also see part 1. And then we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about what we're going to put on our watch list for this week to try to make money trading in this recession. So we'll start off talking about some of our updates for trades we made last week. It was a very volatile week with the interest rate hikes, the GDP data, and all that. And so we didn't really make a lot of trades. We spent most of our time managing some of our winners. The one trade that we did initiate was in big lots, and you've heard our thesis for a while. This is not the first time we've swung big lots, and we like the discount store theme. You heard Walmart messed up their inventory too, Target, etc. So we think the discount stores are going to benefit. So you'll see we went long again in big lots on 728 at 1881. We're still holding that position. Again, we've been manually moving our stop up as it crosses through various resistance points, and we'll continue to do so and let it run and make a profit. It's already nicely profitable for us. So, and again, we'll look at that in a minute. Let me bring up our Discord too. If you'd like to get real-time alerts, we post them first to our Patreon members when we make a trade, if we close a trade, etc. And then it also gets posted to an alerts channel within our Discord as well. So if you'd like to get real-time alerts of any of our trades, good morning, Johnny Trades. Thank you for joining us. Haven't seen you in a little while. Tanvir, thank you for joining us again. Good to see you all again. Hopefully you're doing well. So you can find an invite to our Discord in the description box below and also on our homepage, etc., as well as links to our Patreon. And if you'd like to get, again, real-time alerts of our trades, we have automated alerts that come in from Thinkorswim when it hits a price target. And then if we actually take the trade, then we will update that with the trade that we place based on that Thinkorswim alert. Otherwise, if it's just one that we've found out of the blue, we'll post it in the trade alerts, and there's also an automated update there. So again, if you're interested in that, our Patreon members will get those trade alerts. I'm glad to hear it's beautiful in DC. It's beautiful here in Florida too. Beautiful day. So now we'll talk about some updates to our watch list from last week. You'll see we're culling. A lot of things ran up. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. So we're going to take BDRY off. A lot of these have run up. BDRY is actually one that broke down, failed to find support. We've got it in our ETF watch list and also in our Google spreadsheet, so we'll keep an eye on that. I still like the overall theme. Dry bulk shipping prices have really dropped. I don't really know why that's the case, and I expect a reversal at some point. You can see we are already long big lots, so we're taking that off. One of the new ones that we'll look at is BVN. This is a gold, silver, zinc, copper, and magnesium sulfate miner out of Peru. And we have swung these guys profitable in the past, and it popped up in one of our queries as being close to a support level, showing a good risk reward opportunity. You can see it pays a small dividend. It's optionable. So we'll take a look at that guy. Again, we like that. Some of these minerals, silver or zinc, I believe, is used in EV batteries as well. And you can also see they're into hydroelectric power. So, and again, this is a Peruvian one. So again, we've profitably swung them in the past. So we're just waiting for that to come down. We'll look at it in there. And then you see we're going to remove all our uranium guys. We saw yesterday in part 1 that uranium's all run up, so we're going to not chase that right now. If we see the sector rotation and uranium comes back down, we'll take another crack at all the uranium guys. Yeah, BDRY, Captain Matty, that's the dry bulk shipping guy. Yeah, we're going to take that off for now because it's broken down, but we'll keep an eye on it. We're going to keep these guys on. We've got EURL for Europe. It's a leveraged ETF. We've got EWZ for Brazil. We're going to talk about cold a little bit. Cold is the short on natural gas. Again, our position on that is we're looking for it to test its all-time high again, and then we would add a scalping position to short natural gas back down. So now, again, as we talked about in part 1, we talked about this for a long time. Energy's been very volatile. You can day trade, scalp, momentum trade, natural gas up using BOIL, BOIL, and short using cold, KOLD. And you can do that on a daily basis or even intraday. It's been making some pretty dramatic intraday swings. So there's always opportunities to day trade natural gas and oil right now. You can play Gush going up or UCO going up and DRIP and SCO coming down. And we can see that in our ETF spreadsheet a little bit too. We're going to take Mark Forged off again. Several of these have really run up. Same thing with MP Materials. We got a nice little scalp on MP Materials. Then they had some news that they were being added to one of the indices, the smaller cap. I think it was a Russell 400 or something like that, and it ran up. So we're going to let it go, wait for it to come back down. I like the thesis behind MP Materials. I'm just not going to chase it. I'm a cheapskate, so we'll wait till we can get a better price, and then we will go after MP Materials again. Again, we're taking off the uranium play. We've still got the euro. Let's see opportunities in the euro. And then with the volatility in oil, we'd really like to get a nice big chunk of USOI, which is, again, one of these monthly dividend-paying ETNs from Credit Suisse. So if we can get a dip in oil someday, we'll take a chunk of USOI. So again, UUUUs, another uranium. Also, with the market run up recently, we saw in part 1, all the indices have kind of run up to their support, their 50-day moving average support. So we're going to take VTI off right now, wait for the markets again. If they correct and come back down, we'll take a crack at VTI again. VTI is the total market index ETF. It's a long-term investment type hold, and right now it's sitting above 200, and so there's only about $40 upside, and there's about $20 downside. So it's not terribly exciting. If you want a long-term investment, we recommend VTI as probably the best long-term. So just trying to keep up with the chat, see you guys going back and forth, which is great. We want all of our BeachBum traders to help each other out, support each other. That's our objective here. So we'll jump over to Webull and we'll take a look at our watch list for this week. Just a real quick reminder for anyone watching this video who's not already using Webull, they're still offering their 6 free stock deal. And again, if you just open an account, you can get 2 free stocks up to $300 each. And if you deposit any amount, even a penny, you can get 4 more shares up to $3,000 each. Again, Weeble's our favorite trading platform. We do most of our trading. We have our watch lists in Weeble, etc. I'll quickly show our big lots graph. You can see we went long after it bounced off the support level. We didn't get the bottom price, but we got 1881. You can see it's now up to 20, and you can see that's where I've got my stop right now, which is just a little bit below a support line. So I typically move those up just a little bit below a support line, so it hopefully doesn't get sniped too quickly. And when it goes up above this next support level, then I'll move it up a little higher to below that S2 level. So you can see that's our trade on big lots. And I have a video that shows that whole process about protecting your profits and using stop losses in both Webull and E-Trade. And it's the same practice that I use as they cross through these various support and resistance levels, and then I move up, and I typically stay 1 to 2 support levels behind. So again, I don't get stopped out prematurely, and I can let my winners run. I don't know, Captain Manny. I don't know of any way to share a watch list in Webull right now. I can tell you there's Webull has been adding a whole bunch of features. They added a crypto wallet, and there's a whole new features tab in Webull, and I haven't had the time. See, here's this features tab. So they've had fractional shares for a long time. They've had crypto for a long time. They added this whole features tab is relatively new. You see they've got OTC, paper trading. They've had that for quite a while. I just haven't dug into what all they're supporting with a crypto wallet, but I find that very interesting, given the issues with some of the crypto exchanges that you don't actually own your coins. I may dig into those features in more detail, and if I learn something to share, I can add that as a future video. So if anybody else learns what all that means and could share it in our Discord, etc., that would be great. So Tanvir, if I go back and look at big lots again, and I'll just show you, you can enter any ticker in here in the search box and jump over there. I mean, big lots hasn't run away too far. It's got nice upside. I think our price target is somewhere, I'd have to look, but it's probably somewhere in the 40s or above. If I zoom out to a year, I mean, it could go up to 60 if it swings all the way up. Somewhere in the 40s isn't bad. So, it's not bad. I mean, it's not run away so much. I'd say, don't touch it. Morning, Walter. Glad to see you. From the woods. Great. Trading while traveling, right? So what kind of connectivity are you using while you're trading while traveling, Walter? We got one of these Orbic hotspots, Verizon hotspots, and we've got some videos on how to use that as a way to trade while traveling. Yeah, we're going to look at TLT and Treasuries. I've got your question down, Tanvir. So let me spin through our watch list real quick. Again, right now it's relatively short. If we make changes to our watch list, we will post those to our Patreons. And also any changes to our watch list during the week, again, we'll post them out to our Patreons. And we also have a watch list channel in our Discord. Patreon members have access to that. We'll post changes to our watch list during the week to our Patreons and in that channel in our Discord. Yeah, cool. Hope that works well for you. So here's BVN, and you can see it's been kind of trailing down. You can see kind of where our price level is, 514 or so right now. As long as it achieves a stable bottom there or below, whenever it stabilizes and turns up, we'll go long on BVN. That's that Peruvian miner. The euro and the European stuff has run up a little bit. I considered taking them off, but if we just see a little dip in the European stock market or the euro, or we see some dollar strength, we might get a little dip in here. If it doesn't come back down, I'll take them off. But if we catch a dip, I'd like to catch that opportunity. Same thing with Brazil. It's run up a little bit. We'll see if we get a dip. Again, the markets have all been running lately. So here's cold. You can see it's really been declining because natural gas keeps pushing up. I'm watching more so the natural gas price, and if it tests that all-time high again, then we'll scalp natural gas again using cold. Again, we do have a long-term position, but we'll keep scalping it as natural gas tests its all-time high again. Here's the euro. Again, it's a little bit higher than I'd like, but if we get an opportunity, we'll take it. Here's that USOI oil ETF. It's a little above where I'd like it. But again, if with oil and natural gas, with energy so volatile, if we can catch an opportunity, I probably should have bought it here. And if I get a dip like that, again, I'll probably buy it a little bit higher than my price target anyway. And then Yang, I know SPEC likes Yang. Yin and Yang are the long and short on China Tech. You can see Yang's kind of run up a bit. You can see it gapped up. I guess that was Friday. There was some news out of China, Alibaba listing in Hong Kong, etc. So I wasn't going to chase it up here. But again, that tends to be so volatile that if it does bounce down, there's opportunities. I'm not going to probably, I could look at yen. Yen is the inverse of yang. And I know our target's down in 60. I prefer shorting China versus longing China, but yeah, we can see, I think our price target's down around 60, so it's not quite at the bottom yet. So. Yeah, no, I agree, SPAC. I'm not doing anything with China Tech right now because Yang's already run up. Yin's not really at the bottom yet, so we'll just kind of wait. Also, we talked last week that CWeb is another way too long China, and we'll see that in our ETF spreadsheet. So, and I talked about changes to our watch list. We'll talk about our bullpen stocks. Again, if you're new to our channel, the concept of a bullpen is ones we're not watching real time during the day, but I go through them at the end of the day, see if they present a better setup. If so, I'll put them in the game. If they break down and run away, then we'll take them off. You can see we've got this CLIX, which is long e-commerce, short brick and mortar. Retail, and that has some potential given the issues with Walmart, etc. So just looking for an opportunity to enter that. We've got Chile, again, another opportunity. We've got this FONR, this medical device guy, and then the real change right now is Pitney Bowes. We took Pitney Bowes off last week because it had run away, and then they had bad earnings, and it dropped. So now we're waiting for it to stabilize after the bad earnings. That may take a little while. They're probably going to be in the penalty box for a little while because they really missed their earnings. And again, if you see our previous due diligence video, if you haven't seen it, we'd recommend check out our due diligence video we did previously on Pitney Bowes. It's a turnaround play that we're looking for. So once it does stabilize, it may present a good value. So if it stabilizes at support and we get it cheap, then we'll pick up some Pitney Bowes. So. And then as you were asking about TLT, and you'll see I'm adding that to our ETF spreadsheet, Tanavir. The one I'm really keeping an eye on is TMF, which is 3X. It's a leveraged ETF on the 20-year Treasury, and we'll see what the risk-reward profile of TMF versus TLT is when we look at our ETF spreadsheet. So now if I quickly whip over to our bullpen list in Webull, here's CLIX. You can see it's kind of choppy, with low volume. So again, we'd like a support level. ECH, which is Chile, you can see we would like that to come down. It's kind of run up. FONR, medical devices, it's maybe stabilizing. Our price level is a little bit below that. But again, this is a profitable medical device company, so we don't mind that one. Here's Pitney Bowes. You see the plummet on earnings, and you can see it's just really declining. So we really need to see that form a stable bottom. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to stabilize. I think it's making new 52-week lows, again, on the bad earnings. Again, this is a turnaround play. So once it stabilizes and swings back up, I think Pitney Bowes might be a good opportunity again for a turnaround. But sometimes those guys make really good long-term swings, turnaround plays. And here's TMF. And again, we'll look at the risk-reward profiles of treasuries and the various ETFs you can use to play treasuries in just a second. So this is the one that I'm kind of watching for an opportunity. You can kind of see it's up a bit. It's kind of in the middle. So before I jump into the spreadsheet, one that popped up on our queries and our screeners was the utility sector. We saw in part one that utilities has been running pretty consistently lately. And so this short on utilities popped up. And so then I went into the ETF database and in the ETF database and looked up other ETFs in the utility sector and found a couple others that might look attractive. So we could see there's a Bull 3X and there's also a leveraged long. And so I've added all three of these symbols to our ETF spreadsheet and into our database so that we can long and short utility sector. And we'll look at the risk reward profiles of those in a minute. So I'll show our whole ETF spreadsheet. Again, this is constantly under construction. You can see I'm adding things to it. We're trying to further automate the updates to this ETF spreadsheet, but I'm also using this more and more to identify opportunities. And I'll start with the Treasury, since Tanavir asked about TLT, and we've been talking about Treasuries. So here's all the ones I have for treasuries. I've got several for shorting various time frames. Here's TLT. We can see, from a current risk reward standpoint, if we look at the support, and I'll bring up the chart also in FinViz so we can take a look at this. So you can see I was working on updating some of those ETFs before this live stream. So yeah, we could see, TLT's run up a little bit. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see it's got some nice upside to it. So it's already run up a little bit. So we might want to wait for a little bit of a dip. Back down to this, 108-ish support level, which we may get. It's been running up because of a risk-off sentiment. It's not really, in line with the quantitative tightening, which we would expect would drive bond prices down and yields up. And recently the yields have gone down, prices up again on this recession fears. That's an indication of a recession when bonds, when the yields go down. So again, if we catch a dip, TLT might be good, but if we also look at some of the other ones, so the short-term risk reward for TLT looks good. It actually looks better than TMF. See, so there's the support 108, resistance at 155 for TLT. For TMF, it's 10 and 23. So the very short-term risk reward profile for TLT looks good. The longer term support resistance risk reward profile for TMF looks a little bit better, and bottom to top looks better. So I hope that answers your question, Tanvir, that it looks pretty good. If you get a dip, it would be better, right? If it dips down to near to 108, then the risk reward's going to be even better, but it looks pretty good. So I hope that helps. And the 7 to 10s, short term looks okay, but the support to resistance isn't very exciting. So I'll quickly look at the utilities guys that I added. I mentioned I added this short, SDP short on utilities. You can see, as we've seen, utilities have run up quite a bit. So right now it's priced at 1064. I've got support at 1039. So in terms of a very short-term trade, the risk reward on the SDP looks really good. It's not terrible. I always want a 2 or better risk to reward, and between the support resistance, it isn't that great. But again, if you're looking for a trade to make a little bit of money, that's not a bad one. SDP short on utilities, especially if utilities run crazy, hits an extreme, then SDP is a way to short utilities. And we can see that the risk reward for the upside, obviously they've been running, so that's not great, but I wanted to add those just to track utilities when it cycles the other way. So I'm checking for any additional questions in the chat. Yeah, the monkey plays. So I look at it again. I use this quite a bit just to very quickly scroll through some of the ETFs that show, the green is a risk reward profile of 2 or better. We see BTU, that's coal. I kind of like to see green in both the short term and the support resistance, ideally. Also, if you're not into gold, we saw gold and silver were swinging up, and you can see a number of ways that you could go long gold if you wanted. JNUG is junior gold miners. We like GLDI. We're long GLDI. Also, UGL is a 2x gold. We look at silver, and we talked about, drip and SCO short on oil, long on oil, UCO and Gush. Silver, this one showing up, AGQ. Talked about TLT and treasuries, uraniums, etc. Talk about volatility a little bit. I promised I'd talk a little bit about volatility today. We talked about it a little bit yesterday that the VIX has been declining. It's headed down to 20-ish. I could bring that chart up. I would expect, again, as we discussed yesterday in our strategy, that there isn't really any catalyst. There's not another FOMC meeting till September. They've got the Jackson Hole talks, etc. We'll get some more inflationary data, etc., but we expect it to pretty much be in line with what we've seen. So I don't have any reason other than a black swan event to believe that the VIX is going to pop up anytime soon. So we're just going to wait for it to keep trailing off. Good buy points, are at this recent low in the low 20s, and then down to 18, and then down to 16. So we're watching UVXY, watching the VIX. When it does bottom, again, there's no immediate catalyst, and there is some decay in UVXY because it's a leveraged ETF. So we're not in a rush to go long the VIX, but if it looks like it's bottoming, then we'll probably put a position in UVXY and just let it sit there and wait for the next, black swan volatility event, which may be the September rate hike. But again, I expect that to be as expected too. So the market's kind of gotten used to high inflation, high interest rates, a recession, and there's so much money sitting on the sidelines that people are looking to deploy. So we expect this sector rotation. So again, we're going to be, monitoring that daily, looking for new opportunities, watching the sector rotation, seeing, what sector's hot for the day, and then playing that. Again, as I talked about, and making money trading in the recession yesterday in part one, I think that's the strategy for now. Is see what's the play of the day, what's the sector rotation look like, and make money based on what the market's giving you. That's our philosophy in general. Take what the market's giving you. So I hope that all helps. Again, shopping list hasn't really changed. We've been talking about this for quite some time. Make sure your shopping list stocks are inflation proof and recession proof. And hopefully, Tanavir, I hope I answered your questions about TLT. If you have any further questions, please hit us up in the Discord, via social media, in the comments to this video. Does anyone else in the chat have any further questions that you'd like to discuss? Any further tickers you want to look at? Yeah, I heard about that crazy Hong Kong one that it was an IPO and it was just a very short float. So it was like a GameStop type move that somebody, I think Tanavir or somebody was asking about in yesterday's chat. One of the things I heard, there was a video out, Trader TV was talking that, it's very dangerous to try to short that guy because it is very low float. It's just like GameStop. So you could really get burned with something like that. Again, like GameStop, it's not going to take very much if you take a short in that for somebody to try to continue to pump it up and blow you out. So just be very careful with stuff like that. And again, none of this is financial advice. This is education and entertainment only. I hope you all are finding this beneficial. Again, please let us know in the comments, how can we help you succeed in your trading career? What can we do? What would you like to hear about? I don't, if Johnny Trades is asking if I hedge my core portfolio using futures. Currently, I do not trade futures. It looks very interesting. I do spend a lot of time watching the futures in FinViz. There's opportunities, I think, in that area. I just haven't delved into that area as well. I also haven't done a whole lot with options, although I was listening to another video by Mighty Soldier Trades, which I'd also recommend. They were talking about, hedging your positions using options, and that was interesting as well. So So just to ask if anyone has any questions. I'm trying to watch the chat, see if we've got any other questions. But please share this with your fellow traders. Tell 2 friends. Let's grow our community. It's great to see more people in the live streams and that you're helping each other out. That's what we want to see. Let's bring more people into our Discord, have further conversations on any trading topics, etc. Let's build our community for everyone's mutual benefit. And if you're watching this video and you're not already subscribed to our BeachBum Trading channel, please do so. And please vote on the poll and let us know what time is best for these live streams for the weekly trading game plans. Again, if there's other live streams, videos, etc. that you'd like to see, please let us know. Also, just a heads up, it is my understanding that I will be doing a live stream at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the Beginner Trading channel. So if you keep an eye out for that, once I get the link to it, I will be posting that in our Discord and to our social media. Again, John's a good guy, done some videos, some shows for beginner trading in the past. And again, my expectation is 10:30 a.m. on Wednesdays, we'll be doing a swing trading show. So again, when I get the link to that, I will broadcast that out to Discord, our social media, etc. So if you have any topics you'd like discussed in that swing trading show on beginner trading, or again in our live streams, etc., just let me know in the comments below, in the Discord, in our Facebook group, etc. Any tickers you'd like us to research in advance, etc., that would be great. So let us know how we can help you succeed in your trading career. Otherwise, we wish you all great luck and best of success during your trading during the week of August 1st through August 5th. Thank you again all for joining us and for all your support. And have a great rest of your weekend and a great trading week. Bye.